Starting lineups just announced, and it is time for championship basketball. Starters for Indiana Wesleyan, Nutley, Damon, Van Dyke, Merrill, and Frazier. For the Knights, it's Wayner, McNally, Collier, Bossy, and Kennedy Gerard. And Owen, we've seen these two teams match up twice already this season. What do you expect tonight?
Well, you know, Sam, the last time we saw these teams match up, you and I had the opportunity to call the game. And something that really limited the Knights in that first half was the lack of production from senior Ella Collier. She's the star for the Knights, and her production is limited by Bailey Van Dyke, who's on the court right now, and Jordan Reed. And we'll see Jordan Reed come in probably in a little bit. But, you know, I'm excited for this game, and let's get started.
Knights win the tip. Collier has it. She gives it over to Bossy on the left foul line extended. Bossy's going to drive past Damon. Stops, pops, shot is up, and it's good. And a first shot, first bucket for the Knights. They lead 2-0. Here comes Damon across the midcourt stripe.
Yeah, and that was a really quick start for the Knights. That's something they're going to have to do, is just going to take the shots that they trust a lot.
Damon will take a three, and she leaves it short. Rebound collected by Bossy. Here she comes quickly. Fires ahead to McNally. McNally looking. Pass is tipped away by Frazier. She's looking for Kennedy Gerard near the elbow. It'll be Knights basketball with 22 on the shot clock.
Yeah, and we almost see a steal right there by the Wildcats. And the Wildcats are actually up 2 in steals average per season. The Wildcats have a 10.8 average per game, while the Knights only have 8.9. And so that's going to be something to really look at towards the end of this game.
Collier drives inside, spins, kicks it out. Wayner had a shot, didn't take it. Now she gives it over to Bossy. Back to Wayner, left foul line extended. She's going to drive with the left hand, steps back, gets trapped on the baseline, gets it into Gerard. Gerard spinning, kicks it out. Wayner for three. She's got it. Spun around and lands in, and the Knights lead 5-0.
Yeah, and that was a quick 5-point lead that the Knights have jumped out to. But Sam, we saw the same thing last game, but it was against a team, as we see, there's an inerrant pass right there on Nutley, so that's going to be out of bounds on the Wildcats. But to go back to what I was saying is, obviously we saw the Cougars this past Friday get a bigger lead on the Wildcats, something they probably weren't used to. But you know, obviously the Wildcats were a lot better than the Cougars. With the Knights, obviously them and the Wildcats are pretty much in the same stature of where their limitations are and their abilities. And so, honestly, I don't believe they should worry about it, but that is something to really note as the Wildcats going down 5-0 this quick.
McNally's going to drive inside around Frazier. She kicks it out. Wayner thought about a three, doesn't take it. Drives in with the left hand. Her pass is stripped away and stolen by Bailey Van Dyke. Frazier comes ahead with it, drives down the lane. Frazier, the scoop layup, off the front end, no good. And she gets her own steal and gets it back, and Steve Brooks is fired up about that. Pass inside by Frazier, it's tipped away. It'll stay with Indiana Wesleyan.
Yeah, and Sam, we see a bit of an uncharacteristic miss by Frazier, but then we see exactly what she does best and have that instinct to just go to the basketball, and you see that right there as she got that steal.
Fires it up ahead to Frazier. Frazier nearly fell with Bossy guarding her. Nutley has the basketball. She gives it over to Damon. Damon's going to drive with the left hand. Stops, gives it over to Claire Merrill. Merrill to the corner. It's Frazier with the basketball. Frazier backs it out. Now it's going to drive inside. Frazier gets the lane and gets the bucket to go. And that's something we didn't see from Lily Frazier in the semifinal matchup against St. Francis. She did not get her scoring going early. She didn't have a point in the first half. Finally got some free throws going and finished with 9 points and 10 assists. But that's good for the Wildcats to get Frazier going early. Collier drives inside, but no. It's going to be a foul on Claire Merrill for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and like you were saying, obviously with just the lack of production, we saw a little bit. I don't say production, I say the lack of shots by Lily Frazier earlier in the game. But Sam, that lack of production did not exist. She connected on a lot of assists and a lot of rebounds. She almost had a triple-double with steals closer than she did with points.
McNally's shot is no good. Rebound tipped around, and Frazier comes up with it. Frazier across the midcourt stripe. She's going 4-on-1. Finally gets it back out to Nutley. Nutley's going to drive inside, kicks to Van Dyke. Van Dyke shot fake, drives, and she traveled. Good defense from Kennedy Gerard. Van Dyke was trying to get around her, but couldn't.
Yeah, and that's definitely something to know right there, is Gerard making an impact early on. Gerard fouled out pretty early in the last contest. She fouled out with about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and it really led to essentially a Wildcat comeback to win the last contest here in Lucky Arena.
Collier drives inside, the ball is stripped away. Frazier comes up with it, gets it away to Nutley. Turnover for Ella Collier. Now Frazier comes across the midcourt stripe. Wildcats have numbers. They drive. Kick to Damon in the corner. Now Nutley has the top of the key. She gives it Van Dyke. Van Dyke's going to drive with the left hand. Shot up. No good. She left it just off the left end.
You know, I see why Bailey Van Dyke wanted to take that shot, but personally, I just thought that was a little bit too aggressive. I thought she could have made a couple more passes and probably gotten a better shot.
Wayner has the basketball right, foul line extended, guarded by Van Dyke. High dribble by Wayner, nearly a carry. McNally has it near the free throw line. Into Gerard. Gerard's working against Nutley. Spins, fires, no good. She left it short. Good defense from Nutley. Here comes Claire Merrill and the Wildcats. They give it up to Nutley. Nutley inside, spins, scoop layup is blocked, and it's going to stay with Indiana Wesleyan. We've seen the Wildcats go to that scoop layup a couple times. That one was blocked.
Yeah, and here we see that usual mass substitution that head coach Ethan Whaley really brings in. So he's going to be taking out Lily Frazier, Jade Nutley, Kelly Damon, and Bailey Van Dyke. And in for the Wildcats will be both Reeds, Izzy and Jordan Reed, Maddie Lawrence, and Sadie Nee, who had herself a heck of a ball game last time.
What a find from Maddie Lawrence, and Jordan Reed gets the bucket. And the Wildcats now trail 4-5, and after that quick 5 points from the Knights, they haven't scored in about 4 minutes. Bossy, trapped up by Claire Merrill. Bossy looking, finally gets it inside of McNally. McNally's got a mismatch against the shorter Sadie Nee. She's gonna spin, go to work, and she goes off the glass, and it's good.
Yeah, that was a bit of an expected shot by McNally. It'd been kind of ridiculous that she didn't take that shot. She clearly had the mismatch with Lawrence, obviously, you know, reasonably guarding Gerard on the outside.
Jordan Reed has the basketball. She gives it up to Maddie Lawrence in the corner. Lawrence looking, now gonna drive with the left hand. Lawrence backs down the defender, spins, shot up, no good. And it's gonna go off on Izzy Reed. It looked like Gerard might have gotten a finger on it, but now some confusion. Now we'll stay with Indiana Wesleyan. The official originally pointed towards Marian's side. Here's that shot from McNally over the top of Sadie Nee. So the Wildcats maintain possession. Sadie Nee with some stifling defense by Wayner. She's got to get it away, finally does. Here's Merrill with 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it away to Nee. Nee behind the back, steps back, shot up. And it falls.
Sadie Nee is unbelievable. She is leading right off where she finished the game last week. Obviously, you know, Sadie Nee last time out with a career-high 20-plus points for the Wildcats, and she had herself a heck of a ball game off the bench. She's looking to do the same thing in a must-needed game.
And after that shot by Nee, the Wildcat crowd getting into it just a little bit. Wayner will take a mid-range jumper, and she'll match the one from Sadie Nee. 4:37 to play, first quarter. Wildcats trail the Knights 6-9 here in this Crossroads League Championship game. Wildcats looking to sweep the Crossroads League regular season and the Crossroads League tournament for the first time since 2012. Wildcats head coach when they did that, the one sitting on the Marian bench, Steve Brooks. Lawrence drives inside and draws the foul against Gerard, and that's something the Wildcats want to do, get Gerard into foul trouble like they did last time.
Yeah, and they're doing it exactly with the same person they did it last game. Obviously, going towards the end of that game, Maddie Lawrence was the one that really pressed Gerard on the inside. We see the same thing from Nutley as an offensive player, but Nutley's more of that mid-range, protect the outside a little bit, and Nutley's more of the I'm gonna get the pass, find you, back out again, where Lawrence is the one that kind of really just presses her way inside. She embraces the big man mentality for this Wildcats team.
Lawrence at the line, collects, fires, and leaves the first one short.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of uncharacteristic free throw miss as the Wildcats, the Knights do lead the Wildcats in free throw percentage, 77-76, but that's both pretty solid for both teams, especially with some of the recent ones we've seen as of teams that the Wildcats had played late. But, you know, obviously Lawrence is going to go 1 for 2 as she makes that second shot, and we'll really like to see the way the Wildcats play defense right here.
Wildcats opening up in their zone press. It ends up turning into a man-to-man defense once the Knights get it across. Claire Merrill against Wayner. Wayner nearly turned it over. Good defense from Merrill. McNally's inside, still guarded by Sadie Nee. Another mismatch, and she just turns around and gets the shot off the glass. And Wildcats might want to look at that defensively. They have Sadie Nee matched up against Abby McNally. McNally listed at 6'1", Sadie Nee 5'6".
Yeah, that's a bit confusion right there. Obviously, especially with Nutley off the bench, I understand you want to do your rotations that Whaley likes to do. As Merrill with the shot here, and she connects, and the Wildcats are down by 1. But going back to what I said, Sam, is obviously, you would expect them to kind of have that rotation with Nutley and Lawrence, and especially with the two big men in for the Knights.
Now they have Lawrence matched up against McNally and Gerard on the mismatch against Sadie Nee, but the pass is stolen by Izzy Reed. Here comes Reed with a 3-on-1, thought about a three, didn't take it. Now gets it up, Maddie Lawrence, pump fake, drives inside, gives it up, Jordan Reed, shot is good, and the foul.
Jordan Reed doing what she is. I mean, we said it last time, obviously, Sadie Nee is that very obvious spark plug for the Wildcats off the bench, as we're gonna see Kelly Damon check in for Claire Merrill. So Claire Merrill's been usually that person that stays in when they bring in that mass subs, and then it's usually either Lily Frazier or Kelly Damon that comes in for her. But going back to what I was saying, Sadie Nee's obviously been that spark plug the Wildcats need. She's kind of a showy a little bit, you know, really good with dribbling with the hands and everything like that. Really good ball handler. But Jordan Reed is the one that will really test this Knights defense. She's not your average off the bench player as she connects on her and one right there. So the Wildcats now have a 13-11 lead. First lead of the ball game for the Wildcats.
A couple of substitutions for the Knights. They bring in Sarah Majorashova along with Aaliyah Evans. Evans has the basketball and she's guarded by Lawrence. Evans kicks it out. Majorashova dribbles behind the back, nearly had it stripped away, kicks it out. Collier for three. She's got it.
Yeah, you know, Collier doesn't really miss many shots, and although Reed was playing some pretty decent defense with her in the corner, that was a shot that the Wildcats probably shouldn't give her that much room on.
Lawrence nearly threw it away. Izzy Reed collects it, gives it over to Jordan Reed. 13 on the shot clock, 2:28 on the game clock. They give it to Damon at the top of the key. She's guarded by Collier. Nee has it. Neal spins, switches on to Collier. Here comes Jordan Reed. Mid-range jumper, hangs in the air and hits it. And that was something she was doing all game against St. Francis on Friday. She was connecting on that mid-range jumper, and she connects on the first one here tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And the Cougars did give her a lot more room than the Knights player did right there, but she timed it up perfectly, and almost, it looked like she kind of drew the Knights player to jump a little earlier, so it gave her a lot of time to get that shot off properly.
Leah Evans has it top of the key. Lawrence is giving her the left-handed drive. She doesn't take it, but gets it into McNally. McNally spins against Sadie Nee, and look at that, 3 for 3 when she's going up against Sadie Nee.
Yeah, and I think Coach Whaley's kind of realizing what he's going to do here, and he's going to, it looks like we got Frazier, Nutley, and Van Dyke in as we see this replay right here, and we really just, it really truly shows you, if you, I mean, with that close look we have, the mismatch that Nee does have guarding McNally, but obviously we're going to see this here with Nutley coming into the game, but Lawrence is coming out, so that's a bit of a surprise, personally to me. But they're going to leave Reed, Jordan Reed, and obviously Bailey Van Dyke in. Just we'll kind of see what they're going to do defensively, and Coach Whaley draws up.
Knights come up in a little bit of a high press. Wildcats break it. Now a handoff dribble. No, they're going to give it to Frazier in the corner. Frazier drives inside, shot up, and it's good. Lily Frazier ties things up at 17 apiece with 1:30 to play here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and a good amount of energy from the Indiana Wesleyan men's basketball team and the football team, both splitting the student section. So look for a pretty big performance in this game and some loud crowd noise.
Pass is tipped out of bounds, and Collier will, now it'll be a bossy to inbound with 18 on the shot clock.
Yeah, I was almost surprised if Collier was going to be inbounding, because Collier is that person that you kind of want with such a shorter shot clock. She's the kind of person you want to be getting that ball to kind of set the play up to eventually get her the ball back again.
Kirby will check in for Bossy, and Kirby's played in every single game that the Knights have played this season. She's only started one, but she's been reliable off the bench. And a steal, a turnover by the Knights, and Frazier collects. Frazier across the midcourt stripe. Gives it up to Nutley. Nutley gives it right back to Frazier. Frazier and Nutley working the two-man game. Finally gives it over to Damon. Now Reed has it in the corner. Frazier's gonna drive with the right hand. Inside, had her shot blocked, collects, gets it back, puts it right back up and in.
Lily Frazier's unbelievable, and especially when it comes to second chance shots. And there's a lot of the times where it's her own second chance shots. She misses the first one, and then she's gonna get her own rebound and put it back up when most people don't think that she's gonna do that.
Collier wide open from downtown. She left it too far.
And it looked like Van Dyke screamed something in her face with such a wide open shot. Got to find some sort of distraction.
Pass is tipped out of bounds. 28.5 on the game clock, 23 on the shot clock. Here's that shot from Lily Frazier. She got blocked, collects, gets it right back, and puts it right back in.
Yeah, it almost looked like the Knights player right there essentially was a bit surprised when Frazier went after that rebound, but to us, that's not a surprise whatsoever for Frazier.
Another pass tipped out of bounds. That one was Collier with the deflection. And both these teams playing very aggressive defense. We've seen a handful of deflections on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I'd have to definitely agree with you, but you know, the one team that's really leading in steals, and obviously the one player that's been probably one of the better stealers in the entire conference, Lily Frazier with 4. Obviously, we saw that one earlier from Van Dyke. She has 1, and Izzy Reed has 1 as well. So the Wildcats with 6 steals so far.
Reed nearly had it tripped away, and it fires up a shot, but she got fouled.
Yeah, that was kind of a ridiculous foul on, I believe that was number 30 for the Knights, Aaliyah Evans. Kind of a silly foul for Evans right there. Reed was essentially forcing her own shot, and they were playing some pretty solid defense as you see it right there, and we don't see the foul really late, but it was honestly a super late foul and kind of a surprising one, because I wouldn't want to send a player like Jordan Reed to the free throw line and give her easy points, because you see her make the first one right there.
First free throw rattles in and in. Reed collects, fires the second one, left it short, and Collier collects the rebound. So 4 seconds to play. Collier driving with the left hand. Collier gets all the way to the rack, but too strong, and that is how the first quarter will end. Crossroads League Championship game, and the Wildcats lead the Knights 20-17. We'll be right back after this. Second quarter, you see a handful of replays being shown. And what did you see in that first quarter from the Knights, Owen?
Obviously, you know, Sam, the Knights came out blazing high, really starting off the game really fast, and they kind of became stagnant. It almost seemed as if the Wildcats kind of were playing some better defense on them, really limiting their star players. I mean, we saw, not to really obviously shoot down what McNally was doing, but, you know, Collier is obviously the star player, and we didn't see her do very much. Obviously, you know, she does have 3 points, but that's something the Wildcats did very well, limiting her to a single-digit margin in that first game after the first half. So obviously the Wildcats with a really solid start on the Knights star player, but something you can't do is obviously if you're going to leave Collier open, you can't obviously sacrifice that with some other points, which is something we saw the Cougars do last Friday night, obviously with so many other players scoring points for the Wildcats.
Lawrence has it inside, shot no good. Offensive rebound by Reed. Wildcats move it around. Here comes Lily Frazier down in the inside. She spins, the scoop layup is up and good. How did she do that, Lily Frazier?
She shot that ball. It almost seemed as if she had the ball 2 inches off the ground, and she somehow still made that an unbelievable shot, but nothing new from Lily Frazier.
Collier has the basketball, right foul line extended. Gives it up to Kenna Kirby. Kirby at the top of the key. Good find inside for Collier. And Collier gets her second bucket of the day.
Yeah, still a bit of a skeptical pass right there for the Knights. We've seen a lot of those so far with Collier crashing inside. A lot of those have been getting tipped or stolen and essentially shutting down whatever the Knights had planned.
Frazier's gonna go inside again. Nearly had it tipped away. Gets it out to Claire Merrill for 3. She's got it.
And the Wildcats are going to need Claire Merrill to hit a lot of three-pointers tonight. They want to create a wider margin on this Knights team who can obviously make a comeback.
McNally gives it over to Majora Shova. Pass inside to Aaliyah Evans, and she gets a bucket right back for the Knights.
Yeah, she caught the Wildcats defense a little bit off guard, and Jordan Reed got in there just a little bit late, and it led to pretty much an easy point for the Knights.
Knights doing a lot of switching defensively as that pass is tipped out of bounds. 25-21, Indiana Wesleyan leads. Here's that last shot from Aaliyah Evans. She got inside, and Jordan Reed, like you said, just a little bit too late, as Kennedy Gerard is going to check back in for the Knights.
Yeah, and she's going to check in here for Abby McNally. And that's going to obviously lead the Wildcats to now have that sort of matchup between Maddie Lawrence and Gerard.
And that was an interesting out-of-bounds play by the Wildcats. Lily Frazier kind of floated to the outside and then cut back inside, but she had 3 Knights around her, and the other 3 Wildcats were kind of standing on the far side. Wildcats are trying to get it into Frazier still. Finally get it in Jordan Reed, the mid-range jumper. It's good!
Jordan Reed, yes, by far one of the best mid-range jump shot players in the entire country, let alone our conference, and she really shows off what she does best right there.
Wildcats press is quickly broken by the Knights. Aaliyah Evans has the ball. Dribbles around the back, now kicks it out to Kirby. Knights swing around. Majora Shova has the top of the key. She's guarded by Jordan Reed. Majora Shova now switches on to Maddie Lawrence. Majora Shova thought about a 3. She was wide open, doesn't take it. Kenna Kirby drives inside, and she traveled.
Yeah, and checking into the game here is Tamia Perryman, and we saw Perryman get a lot of minutes in the last matchup against the Wildcats due to Gerard truly fouling out early. Perryman is a very, very good defensive threat for the Knights, so the Wildcats are going to have to, play some solid offense around her. As you see, the last shot here by the Knights, that was the one a couple minutes ago, and that just truly shows right there if the Knights are gonna want to get this game back in hand a little bit, they're gonna have to try and do a little bit more of that.
Knights in a 2-3 zone. Claire Merrill has the basketball. She gives it up to Sadie Nee. Nee thought about a 3, doesn't take it now, gives it over to Frazier. Frazier near the top of the key, she's double teamed. Inside, gets it to Maddie Lawrence. Lawrence gonna drive, kick, and shot is up, no good. Gerard with the good defense. And here comes Ella Collier. Collier working against Claire Merrill. Collier is chipped up baseline, that gives it to Perryman. Perryman working against Sadie Nee, gets it out to Majora Shova, gets it inside to Kennedy Gerard. Gerard nearly had it stripped away, but she's fouled. Foul's gonna go against Maddie Lawrence. Lawrence was swiping at the basketball and gets called for the harm.
Yeah, and I kind of saw that one coming in just a little bit. Lawrence tried to stick her hand in there to really get the steal and try and, maybe get a fast break point, but she made contact with Gerard's hand and obviously leading to this foul, sending Gerard to the free throw line to shoot 2. So Gerard's going to connect on the first one. And Sam, something we saw a lot in the last game is a lot of easy points, meaning free throws, sending for both teams. Obviously, both teams in some decent foul trouble early on for both games.
And the 89% free throw shooter, Kennedy Gerard, she goes 1 for 2 at the line. And the Wildcats lead by 5, 27-22, with 7:13 to play here in the second quarter. Ethan Whaley is calling out a play for his point guard, Lily Frazier, to set up. Frazier will take a 3. And she hits it! Lily Frazier from downtown, and the Wildcats lead by 8.
Yeah, and that's Lily Frazier doing what Lily Frazier does best and truly exposing a team for lack of defense, as you saw that right there by the Knights.
Collier drives inside, she's double teamed, that gets it up to Bossy. Bossy going to dribble with the left hand. She gets cut off baseline, kicks it out to Perryman. Nee with a good defense on Perryman. Inside, Majora Shova stops and gets the roll off the back of the rim, and connects on that bucket. Here comes Lily Frazier across the top of the key, gives it over to Maddie Lawrence. Frazier kicks. Now Sadie Nee has the basketball. Wildcats moving it around. Claire Merrill in the corner. Tips pass collected by Lawrence. Another tip pass, and that one goes out of bounds on Gerard. And with 9 seconds of the shot clock, the Wildcats are going to do some substitutions. And Collier is fired up. There's that 3 from Frazier we saw just a minute ago.
Yeah, and we saw that last Friday, the Cougar star kind of getting a little animated and obviously leading to that technical foul for St. Francis. And the Wildcats are kind of doing the same thing to Collier.
Damon to Lawrence in the corner. Lawrence gonna drive baseline, she's cut off. Her pass is taken away. Collier off the tip, Gerard collects. Here comes Kennedy Gerard, she gives it to Ella Collier. And they'll slow things up with Majora Shova at the top of the key. Inside Gerard, she faces up, puts the moves on Nutley, but can't get the bucket to fall. Nutley collects the rebound.
That was a great job by Nutley right there, playing some really great defense inside.
Nutley thought about a three, doesn't take it. Now Jordan Reed has the mid-range jumper. She forced it a little bit, but it doesn't matter.
I don't think the Wildcats can miss right now. I'm gonna knock on wood right now on our desk, but Sam, the Wildcats are hot, and it is very obvious it's getting on the nerves of head coach for the Knights, Steve Brooks.
Jordan Reed and another air pass. Jordan Reed racing down, she collects. Now she's gonna drive inside, gets it to Lily Frazier, and another bucket for Indiana Wesleyan. Timeout, Marian Wildcats lead by 10.
And some obvious deserved emotion for this Wildcats. Coach Whaley smiling. We see the replay here. Jordan Reed by far one of the fastest players in the entire Crossroads League conference. As we got a full timeout, so we're gonna take a break and be right back here at Lucky Arena.
To a 10-point lead here in the second quarter with 5 to go. Steve Brooks had to take a timeout, and he was pretty fired up after that timeout.
Yeah, I think it was two completely opposite sides on both ends of the score table. Obviously, Coach Whaley probably just telling his team to keep doing what they're doing, where Steve Brooks was clearly frustrated with his team, kind of raising his voice just a little bit. Obviously, well-deserved with his team down 10.
Jade Hovey, the freshman, getting some playing time here in this championship game. She's defending Majora Shova. Now Tamia Perryman has the ball. She gives it up to Bossy. Majora Shova thought about a three, doesn't take it. She's double-teamed. Wildcats are playing a little bit of a zone, and Collier inside gives it up to McNally, and McNally does what she does best and puts the layup in.
Yeah, and I think that zone kind of a little bit might have been something to get used to a little bit for the Wildcats, as Frazier with a nice drive, and she's going to just off the back of the rim as Perryman collects the rebound.
Looks like she was looking at going off the glass and then decided last minute to just try to put it in, and it didn't work for her as Collier goes right to the bucket and puts it in with the left hand.
Yeah, and she went off the glass and made it. So maybe Lily Frazier might take just a little bit of note from Collier right there and might put the layup off the back of the backboard next time.
Damon has the ball. She was trying to get it into Nutley, but good defense from McNally. Damon driving with the right hand. Kicks it out to Jade Hovey. Hovey will take a three, and she's got it! Jade Hovey!
The freshman, Sam, unbelievable. Jade Hovey's had herself an impact on the defensive side of the ball this whole season for the games that we've been able to call, but we see her right there connecting on the three, getting a little bit in the scoring column earlier on in this first half.
And we saw her hesitate for a second on that three, and she decided to take it with a hand in her face and still knocks it down. Yeah,
Perryman gave her a lot of room, so why not take the shot?
Quickly inside to Perryman, good cut, good find from Bossy, and Perryman will connect on that layup. Back and forth we go here between the Knights and the Wildcats in the Crossroads League Championship game. Frazier has it, looking inside, gives it over to Damon at the top of the key. Damon's gonna drive with the left hand, kicks it out. Bailey Van Dyke for three, she left it short. Rebound collected by Jade Nutley. She gives it up, Hovey thought about a three, didn't take it. Now goes to the corner to Nutley. Wildcats drive inside, Nutley off the glass and in.
And that was a great job by the Wildcats. That just truly shows, obviously, the unselfishness that Coach Whaley truly preaches for his team. But then, obviously, you see some great ball movement by the Wildcats. I can't stress that word enough. The Wildcats have some of the best ball movement in the entire country.
Inside to Collier. Bucket is good, and the foul. Collier fired up a little after that one. She can make this a two-possession basketball game and cut it to 6 with this free throw.
Yeah, and we see Collier do exactly what she does best, as we see sort of a bit of a half substitution here for the Wildcats, as Jade Hovey, Van Dyke, and Lily Frazier are all going to get a nice rest, as we see this and one foul here by Collier, doing a great job of finishing on the rim. And you know, she does a really good job, exactly kind of she's their version of Lily Frazier for the Knights. She does a great job of getting inside and making sure she can almost get that and one every single time. It seems as if both of those players are going in to get the and one.
Sadie Nee getting directions from head coach Ethan Whaley and setting up the play. She gives it up to Lawrence at the top of the key. Lawrence is going to drive with the right hand, working against Leah Evans, spins, now collects and has to get it out. Damon nearly went over and back, but saves it before it does. Sadie Nee has it in the corner with 7 seconds to shoot. Nee will fire it inside, ball's bouncing around, and it's turned over. Collier collects the steal, gets it ahead. Aaliyah Evans drives inside, hands it off to Bossy, layup, up, and good. And just like that, that 10-point Wildcat lead is cut to 4.
Yeah, we might see Coach Ethan Whaley take a timeout here soon if his Wildcats can't slow the pace down a little bit and get some points.
Jade Nutley drives inside, shot is blocked by McNally. Rebound by Wayner, here she comes. Knights moving quickly, inside, Aaliyah Evans, she's gonna drive. Layup is up and good. Timeout, no. Ethan Whaley thought about taking a timeout. I saw his hands start to motion for timeout, and now he's going to take one as the Wildcats get it across. He wanted the Wildcats to get it across half court so they can advance it, but a timeout by Whaley. It'll be, we'll check if it's a 30 or full. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here. And just like that, Knights, after that timeout, come out firing, and they've cut this lead down to 2. And they're really controlling the pace of the game after that timeout in the last 4 minutes of game time. They're making the Wildcats speed up. It's caused some errant passes and some errant shots from Indiana Wesleyan. Here's that block by McNally that we were talking about. And the Knights have just moved quickly after that, and that's the reason they've been able to get back into this ball game.
Yeah, you know, Sam, I mean, I definitely agree with you. I mean, obviously, Ella Collier was fairly limited in that first quarter with 3. She's now since gotten up to 8 points, and she's not only done a really good job of, you know, connecting on shots, but she's doing a really good job of getting those rebounds for her team and sort of setting up the play. She only has 1 assist, so she may not be the one to get the pass before the shot, but she's definitely really setting up and drawing a lot of Wildcat attention. So that's something definitely to note as this game progresses.
Wildcats bring Frazier and Reed back in. Lawrence has it, she's double teamed, gets it in, throws it between the legs of Claire Merrill. Now Wayner has it, and the Knights have a chance to tie or take the lead. Evans gonna drive inside, layup, no, she stepped out of bounds. It'll go the other way. But Evans has been doing well at that. She gets the ball kind of on the baseline, drives inside, and she's hit plenty of layups that way.
Yeah, she's done a really good job of that. Obviously, only 2 shot attempts, so she's 2 for 2 with 4 points, but she's done a really good job of kind of getting herself going and making sure that she has those wide open shots inside.
Trying to set up Frazier for a drive, now they get it to Lawrence. Lawrence gets a switch onto the smaller Wayner, spins, layup is up and good, and the Wildcats set up the pick and roll game, and it worked to perfection.
Yeah, Maddie Lawrence does a really good job when she gets those mismatches and really knows how to attack the basket.
Deflected out of bounds by Frazier, and it'll stay Knights basketball. 1:05 to play here in this first half. The Wildcats on top, 41-37. Crossroads League Championship game, and this is the 3rd one in a row between the Knights and the Wildcats. The Wildcats have won 2 straight, trying to do a three-peat.
Yeah, and Sam, I agree with you. It'd be really sweet if the Wildcats could win the whole thing again. And obviously, when I say win the whole thing, this would be the first time, like you said earlier, since 2012. And I think this game means a lot for Coach Ethan Whaley and his team to kind of keep this streak going into, obviously, the national tournament, which will be being hosted here in Lucky Arena next week.
Knights move it around, and now Aaliyah Evans has it as the top of the key. They get into Collier. Collier's guarded by Claire Merrill. Pass is tipped away. Jordan Reed racing around to get it. Layup is up, and it's good. Jordan Reed with a steal and the score, and Reed has not missed a shot here in this game.
That shot right there, that steal, that shot truly shows Jordan Reed's breakaway speed, which is why I always say every time she has one of those, she's probably the fastest player in all of college basketball.
And Reed, after a foul against the Knights, I don't know who that was on, but Damon went down. Reed leading the Crossroads League in steals per game. She's got 2 here in this game, and she uses her length really well to get those steals. And like you said, one of the fastest players in college basketball, able to get around any defender and drive to the hoop. And gets the bucket to go. She's 6 for 6 so far in this game. We have 13 seconds to go. Wildcats setting up to take the last shot. Shot clock is turned off. Frazier has it. She's looking for Lawrence. Now gets it over to Damon. 5 seconds. Damon's going to drive with the left hand. Shot is blocked by McNally. Here comes Aaliyah Evans. 1 second. Fires a half-court shot. And it's no good. And we will head to the break with the Wildcats on top here in this Crossroads League Championship game. It's the Wildcats 43, Knights 37. We'll be right after halftime. We're back now for the second half of action. It's Indiana Wesleyan leading the Knights of Marian 43-37. Crossroads League Tournament Championship game. Wildcats looking to win 3 straight Crossroads League Tournament games and looking to beat Marian in 3 straight Crossroads League Tournament games. Owen, what did you see from the Wildcats in that first half?
Obviously, something you see from the Wildcats every game, Sam, is that reoccurring bench points total. The Wildcats outscoring the Marian bench 22-8, Sam. And then something else to really know about the Wildcats, only 5 turnovers compared to the Marian 10 turnovers. And that is obviously a lot has to do with that is the 8 steals by the Wildcats. And obviously 4 of them coming off of Lily Frazier alone, 2 from Jordan Reed, Izzy Reed with 1, and Bailey Van Dyke with 1. And then 2 Wildcats already in double digits compared to the only Knights player in double digits, which is Abby McNally. Ella Collier 2 points away from being in double digits, but still, I think last game, them holding Collier, the Knights' obvious best player, to single digits, helped them out a lot with confidence-wise going into the second half. And I believe, Sam, if history is due to repeat itself, the Wildcats can come out on top if they can continue to limit Collier, especially forcing her to not take shots. We saw before the break, Collier essentially getting I believe it was a foul on her offensively right in the paint on a charge, and the coach was yelling at her about telling her to just take the shot, but she had no shot. I think if the Wildcats can continue to limit her shots, then I believe they can come out on top and win themselves their first dual conference championship since 2012.
Collier gets it inside to Gerard. Gerard kicks it out to Wayner. Wayner thought about a 3, didn't take it. Now gives it over to Bossy. Right foul line extended. Bossy picks up her dribble inside to Gerard. Gerard, quick pass inside to McNally. McNally underneath the hoop. And she gets another bucket to go. And McNally starts off right where she left in that first half. McNally was torching the Wildcats from underneath.
Yeah, I think the Wildcats are going to have to fix that a little bit, honestly. I mean, I understand you have McNally and Gerard on the court at the same time. 2 very big players, essentially probably 4 and 5, probably a dual center big man type thing, as we see kind of a bit of an air pass, but Jade Nutley's going to gather it up. But I think the Wildcats are going to need to limit McNally a little bit in the second half, as Lily Frazier with an unbelievable drive, Sam. But yes, exactly right there, as Lily Frazier starts off high, and that's what the Wildcats are going to need, especially if McNally continues to produce the way she has been.
Frazier does a great job keeping that defender on her hip and is able to shoot the layup uncontested. Gerard has it on the left foul line extended. She's looking for McNally. McNally takes it, gives it over to Bossy. Bossy back to Gerard. Now gives it over to Wayner. Left foul line extended. Gerard at the free throw line, spins, looking inside, fires up a shot, left it short, and Jade Nutley collects the rebound. One thing to note from that first half, there were only 16 rebounds between both teams. Both of these teams were shooting extremely hot. Right now, 73% from the field are the Knights. Wildcats, 61%.
Yeah, definitely that's something to note as Nutley connects right there on a nice little turnaround jumper. But Sam, also something to truly note is the fact Nutley did not have her best game against the Cougars big man last Friday, but Nutley's having herself a very solid game against the big men for the Knights in Gerard, so make sure to keep an eye on that.
Into the corner, Abby McNally will take a 3. She doesn't take a lot, she leaves that one off the back iron. Now Jade Nutley has it south the key. Nutley looking for the handoff dribble, now gives it to Damon. Damon steps back to the corner. Jade Nutley looking, wanted it inside to Frazier, but couldn't get over to the arms of Gerard. Wildcats moving the ball around. Now Van Dyke has it. Van Dyke will take it, drive inside, spins against McNally, shot is blocked. Knocked out of bounds by McNally, and the Wildcats will maintain possession, and just 2.5 minutes here into this second half. Sadie Nee and Jordan Reed will check in for Indiana Wesleyan. Damon and Van Dyke will take seats on the bench.
Yeah, and add that block to McNally's team leading and game leading block. She has 3. She's having herself a really solid game inside the paint right there, really contesting a lot of shots that the Wildcats are used to kind of basically them given to them. And so McNally's doing a really good job as we see that block right here. I mean, there's been a lot of times against some teams where Van Dyke kind of makes that shot a little uncontested, but McNally not letting her do that.
Nee was looking for Reed inside, finally gets it away to Frazier. Frazier in the paint, scoop layup, no good. She was just a little too far off the paint, or off the block to get that layup to go. Now Collier has it, right foul line extended. Dribbles into the corner, she's double teamed by Frazier and Nutley. Now works against Nutley, spins, fires, no good. Rebound Claire Merrill. Here come the Wildcats. Merrill decides to slow it down and then speeds it up. Nutley double clutch, shot it was blocked.
Yeah, and a bit of an uncharacteristic double clutch right there. I mean, I don't think Nutley necessarily needed to do that. I think she had a pretty decent shot if she would have initially shot it right there, but then she decided to go underneath the basket, and obviously got her shot blocked.
Haas nearly went out of bounds. Good save by the Knights. Wayner will take a 3, and she hits it.
Yeah, and that's something you can't let the Knights do, is get hot from beyond the 3-point line, especially if the Knights are going to want to get back into it, and if the Wildcats want to limit that, as there's a turnover right there by Lily Frazier.
Lily Frazier gives it up. Here comes the Knights. Bossy drives inside, layup, too strong. Rebound tipped around, knocked out of bounds by Bossy. Frustrated after that one. She had the rebound in her hands, just couldn't hang on. Wildcats will take the possession, leading 47-42, 6:23 to play. Third quarter of the Crossroads League Championship game. I'm Sam Wirt, joined by Owen Nadishin. And here comes Lily Frazier. Frazier gives it over to Sadie Nee. Nee, she had that big game against St. Francis on Friday night, has not scored a lot. Here's a 3-pointer, in and out. Offensive rebound goes to Jordan Reed, though. Now Nutley has the top of the key. She's gonna hand off to Lily Frazier. Frazier gets the switch, now pops and hits.
That's not something we see a lot from Lily Frazier. I think if she could unlock that, I think the Knights are gonna have themselves a lot to deal with on their hands. As Jade Nutley with the steal, and there goes the drive, the over-under, it's an and one! Jade Nutley, welcome to the basketball game. An unbelievable way to start the second half. I'm sorry I took that call from you, Sam, but I had to. As you see the replay right here, I saw it unfold a little bit. I mean, we saw Nutley kind of attack, creeping her way in there, and she caught the pass and went. I mean, earlier we saw her obviously not take that shot, but with the nice double clutch right there, she was able to get on underneath and make the shot.
And it'll be a timeout by head coach Steve Brooks. He was screaming for it. It's just a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here. But what a steal from Jade Nutley. And she can give the Wildcats a 10-point lead if she can knock down this free throw here in about 30 seconds. Brooks takes a timeout to talk things over. He had a good start to this second half, but then the Wildcats really turned it on.
Yeah, and I mean, the Wildcats, yes, I agree. The Wildcats did turn it on. They had some pretty solid defensive possessions. Back-to-back right there, but I do really think something that made Coach Brooks call that timeout, Sam, was this and one play that we were about to see completed right here by Nutley, because I mean, it was something that, although the Knights didn't have they didn't have more than, I believe, 2 pretty lackadaisical offensive possessions to say, and that's the thing is, what I wouldn't say was lackadaisical, they just missed a little bit of easier shots, and they decided to take some tougher ones. But I think the fact that Nutley connected and his team seemed to be a little bit of, flustered, as Nutley will connect on the and once. The Wildcats take a 10-point lead as Lawrence is due to check in here, probably for Nutley. But yeah, Sam, I think if the Wildcats can continue to do what they're doing so far and just keep the momentum going on their side, I believe they will have a solid third quarter.
Wayner loses possession. Claire Merrill gets a steal, and Brooks is screaming for a foul call. No foul was given, and the Wildcats take possession.
Yeah, we see Lawrence right there checking for Nutley, Sam, and that was kind of what was expected. But yes, Coach Steve Brooks is very frustrated, and it's been either with the defensive side right there with the Wildcats of aggressiveness, or it has been a lot with Frazier kind of seeming like as if he's calling for like Frazier trying to elbow her players. We see a steal there by McNally.
McNally gets it away to Gerard. She'll take it across the midcourt stripe. Now Jay Loiner has it near the top of the key, gives it over to Bossy. Bossy, right foul line extended, gets the screen from Gerard, drives inside, layup is up, it's good, and oh, it's a charge! The foul is gonna be on Collier. Charge drawn by Maddie Lawrence, and Brooks can't believe it. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, and we'll see here if I think Lawrence got set. I think Lawrence did a great job right there. I think what Coach Brooks is obviously saying is that Lawrence didn't get set, and if anything, it should have been a blocking foul. But I believe Lawrence got her feet set, and she did a great job drawing that charge foul. And and as we'll see it again right here, but I do believe that is Collier's second charge foul. If my memory is correct, I believe she drew one earlier in the game.
And one thing to note is maybe Lawrence might have had her foot on that restricted arc. That might have been something that Coach Steve Brooks was upset about.
Yes.
But either way, the Wildcats take possession. Sadie D drives inside, gets the bucket and the harm.
Sadie D, a bit surprised that even she made that shot. I think she threw it up just expecting to get the foul. And the shot actually dropped right there, and she was able to connect, and now she's going to have a shot of an and one. And I don't want to jinx her too much, but Sadie Nee is pretty automatic from the free throw line.
Nee with 4 points here in this game. She had 20 career high in that last game against St. Francis. She's been great off the bench today, 5 points now. She had 3 assists in that first half, and Coach Steve Brooks is still giving an earful to one of the referees.
Yeah, and the referee is telling him to stop. So I'd definitely keep an eye on that, Coach Brooks. If he keeps getting very animated, he might draw himself a technical foul, sending the Wildcats to the line for some easy points.
Inside, McNally drives and gets the foul call. That one's gonna go against Nee. And Steve Brooks has always been an animated head coach, and he always tests the line on drawing those technicals with the referees, but he doesn't get them very often, and credit to him knowing when to stop.
Yeah, and so we see some Wildcats subbing out. Jade Hovey doing herself a great job, the freshman off the bench. Sadie Nee and Claire Merrill also having both of themselves a very solid game so far. And checking in for them, I believe, will be Lily Frazier. Coach Brooke was in my way, sorry. Lily Frazier, Kelly Damon, and Jade Nutley will be checking in for the game as McNally will connect on her first one. And I believe they have Lawrence and Nutley in due to the fact that McNally is in the game along with Aaliyah Evans, so that 2 big man rotation the Knights are running.
Wildcats go big with Reed, Nutley, and Lawrence, like you said. Frazier gives it over to Nutley. Nutley will take a 3. Off the right side, no good. Offensive rebound, Maddie Lawrence. She shots, it's good! And the Wildcats have jumped out to a 13-point lead. Here comes Ella Collier, and Collier has played this entire game. She played all 20 minutes in the first half. She hasn't checked out here in the second. McNally going inside, double team. Shot is up, and the foul goes against Maddie Lawrence. And even against Lawrence and Nutley, McNally is still going to work.
Yeah, and a bit of frustration from the Wildcats fan base. I think Lawrence's confusion is very well deserved, but obviously, you know, with the way both teams as a kind of an uncharacteristic miss right there from McNally from the free throw line, but obviously Lawrence knows she might have committed a foul just a tad bit right there as McNally goes 0 for 2 from the line, so some easy points that the Knights miss out on.
McNally, a 70% free throw shooter, misses both at the line. Here's Lawrence with a basketball. She gives it up to Nutley. Nutley drives inside, turns it over, no! Good job by Maddie Lawrence to collect. Now fires it over to Reed in the corner. Reed's mid-range jumper is good! Jordan Reed has not missed a shot here in this game. She's been electric for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and I think if Lily Frazier wasn't having herself a ball game as well, Jordan Reed would obviously be the starring point of this game so far.
And the Wildcats fans are on their feet. Here comes Collier. She stops, pops, left it short. McNally is fouled. Foul's gonna go in Lily Frazier, and for Frazier, that's her second foul. Wildcats not in major foul trouble. Lawrence has 2, Sadie Nee has 2. And Lily Frazier just collected her second for the Knights. 3 on Kennedy Gerard and 2 on Ella Collier. So Gerard sitting on the bench with 3:18 to go here in this third quarter. And and McNally knocks down that free throw.
Yeah, and I think, Sam, something to definitely note is the fact that Gerard, she's not in the game with 3 fouls in the third quarter. And I think, Sam, this is very similar to the last time the Knights came here to Lucky Arena with Gerard fouling out pretty early. Is the Wildcats really making sure they get Gerard, one of their better big men, in foul trouble, as Nutley misses a 3, just a little strong wide, as Jordan Reed collects it, and the Wildcats do have possession, and the jump ball goes the Wildcats' way.
Great job by Jordan Reed to fight for that offensive rebound, and like you said, possession arrow pointing towards Indiana Wesleyan, so it'll stay with the Wildcats. Frazier is double teamed, she gives it over to Damon in the corner. Damon, step back, gives it over to Lawrence, and they swing to Nutley. Wildcats moving around. Damon from long range. No good.
Kelly Damon can hit those for sure. I mean, hey, Sam, we've seen her hit a half-court shot before, so she can definitely hit a long three-pointer.
Into McNally. McNally goes baseline. Pass is tipped out of bounds by Kelly Damon. 2:37 to play here in this third quarter. Wildcats on top by 13. Looking to make it 3 straight Crossroads League tournament champions. And looking to, like I said, sweep the Crossroads League tournament regular season and Crossroads League tournament and regular season for the first time since 2012. Good job by Reed tipping that pass away. Bossy has it, she's guarded by Frazier. Bossy's gonna drive with the left hand. Now switches to the right, shot is up, no good. McNally's rebound is up, and it's good. McNally has done a great job today, and she's got 17.
Yeah, and right before that, Sam, we did see McNally, after making that shot, kind of call to Coach Brooks and kind of ask for a break, as we see Gerard now heading to the scores table, and Gerard will check in for Abby McNally, and checking in the game for the Wildcats is Claire Merrill for Jade Nutley. So Jade Nutley obviously well deserves some break here. I know Nutley probably doesn't want to come out the game, but she definitely deserves it.
Get it out to Jordan Reed. Reed has it on the three-point line, hands it over to Frazier, and Frazier was fouled. She looked like a running back putting the ball in her gut and getting through the middle, but foul was on the floor.
I appreciate the football reference, Sam. Thank you.
You're welcome for that one, Owen. Perryman will check back in for the Knights. She comes in for Bossy. Perryman's got 2 points on the game along with 2 assists. Damon will inbound. Looking, has to get it out. Finally gets it out to Frazier, and it's tipped out of bounds by Perryman. She had Lawrence on the three-point line, elected not to go with her. And Lawrence will inbound. Lawrence gets it to Jordan Reed at the top of the key. Frazier has it now. Frazier, handoff dribble to Claire Merrill. Merrill, cut off by Perryman. Now Maddie Lawrence has it. Left foul line extended, dribbles with the right hand towards the free throw line, spins inside. Layup is up and good. Maddie Lawrence going to work.
Maddie Lawrence is obviously the star of the show within the last 5 minutes of the last game here in Lucky Arena between these two teams, with her shot essentially winning the Wildcats the game last time out. But you see it here, Maddie Lawrence getting herself going a little earlier on than usual.
By Georgieva with a crossover against Damon. She's cut off, now hands it off to Collier. Collier spins, and it's fouled by Maddie Lawrence. Third foul on the game for Lawrence. That one goes as Collier was trying to drive inside, and Nutley will have to quickly check back in for Lawrence. Aaliyah Evans will inbound right in front of the table. Here's that crossover from Damon that had the crowd getting into it, but then the foul from Maddie Lawrence. So Majorashova has it top of the key. She gives it over to Kennedy Gerard. Back to Majorashova, inside. Good passing by the Knights, and they work around the Wildcat zone.
Yeah, that was a great job. If the Knights want to get back in this game, Coach Brooks is going to have to draw up similar plays to that.
1:10 to go here in the third quarter. Wildcats by 11, 61-50. Here comes Lily Frazier in the inside. Gives it up. Jordan Reed, the mid-range jumper, and it is a hit today. Jordan Reed's got 19.
Jordan Reed having herself just an astonishing game, Sam. I mean, I could use any adjective in the entire dictionary, and none of those will describe how well Jordan Reed is playing tonight.
Evans leaves the layup short. Here come the Wildcats. 44 to play. They can go 2 for 1. Claire Merrill, the three-pointer. It's good. It's good.
This is the Wildcats are hitting on every cylinder right now, and it is getting this crowd going here in Lucky Arena. This is unbelievable. It feels like a championship basketball game.
5-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock here in this third quarter. Evans has it. She'll take the mid-range jumper. She hits it and silences this crowd just a little bit. 20 seconds to go, shot clock turned off. Here comes Lily Frazier to end the third quarter. Wildcats lead by 14. She gives it up to Damon across the midcourt stripe. Damon's gonna set up the play with 10 seconds on the clock. Damon dribbling with the right hand. Long pass over to Claire Merrill in the corner. Merrill trying to get it to Jordan Reed, 3 seconds. Jordan Reed has to get up a shot, she traveled. And the clock expires here in this third quarter. The Wildcats are on top, 66-52 after that three-pointer by Claire Merrill. We head to the fourth quarter with a championship on the line. For the fourth quarter of play, where the Wildcats have made a run and they lead by 14, 66-52. 18 points for Jordan Reed, 17 for Lily Frazier. They've been the duo here in this game. For the Knights, 19 points for Abby McNally, and they've done a great job on Ella Collier. She's only got 8, she's shooting 3 for 7. She does have 3 rebounds and an assist. So the Wildcats on top here. Is that the three-pointer by Claire Merrill you just saw? A big boost for Indiana Wesleyan. At the time, gave them the largest lead of the game at 16.
Yes, Sam, and I think Coach Steve Brooks and the Knights want to get back into this thing and draw it to let a single-digit lead and keep drawing their way back and climbing their way back with these 10 minutes left here in the final quarter. I think they're going to have to limit the turnovers. 12 turnovers to the Wildcats 7, but except with the Wildcats turn the ball over, they limit the Knights on defense versus if the Wildcats get a turnover on the Knights, the Wildcats will probably score the ball about 90% of the time.
Perryman inside, or Perryman on the three-point line after the kick from Gerard, and Gerard is fouled on the inside pass, and that's gonna go against Frazier, and for Frazier, I believe that's actually, that is just her second. So I thought the last one was her second, but that was her first. So Frazier's got 2 fouls. Lawrence has 3, and Sadie Nee has 2. Majora Shova looking, gets it to Perryman with the mid-range jumper. Finds the bottom of the net. Cuts the Wildcat lead back down to 12. Here comes Lily Frazier. Frazier gets the ball back from Nutley. Frazier driving inside, gives it back to Nutley. Nutley thought about a 3. Working the 2-man game. Frazier from downtown, off the right side, no good. Offensive rebound by Claire Merrill, back up and in. And the Wildcats are hitting on all cylinders offensively.
Yeah, and that is something that the Wildcats do really well, is you'll see after a shot, whether on the defense or offensive side, as Evans draws the foul there, is something the Wildcats do a really good job at, is whenever there's a shot, there is at least 4 Wildcats swarming towards the rim, getting themselves a rebound, and the Wildcats are going to get the ball, especially with them outnumbering the Knights inside the paint.
So Evans goes to the line after getting fouled. Misses the first one off the front end. It hit everything but the bottom of the net on that one. And she hits the second one. Damon has it. Wildcats leading by 13. 9 minutes to go here in this Crossroads League Championship game. The Wildcats looking for the three-peat. Inside, Jordan Reed. She gives it to Lily Frazier. Frazier's double team, now takes it back out. Frazier over to Damon. Pass is tipped away. Here comes Ella Collier. Collier and Frazier. Collier with a little bit of a Euro step in. Goes by Frazier. Gets the bucket to go.
Yeah, and they're going to need their best star to keep producing if the Knights want to make a comeback here. Collier now in double digits. But McNally herself is having herself a really solid game with 19.
McNally's still on the bench. Played a lot of minutes in that third quarter. Played a lot of good minutes for the Knights. keeping them in this game. Jordan Reed has it at the elbow, kicks it over. Kelly Damon, how about a three? It's good! Kelly Damon from downtown.
There's about 3 Wildcats that if they shoot a three-point shot, I almost expect it to go in every time, and Kelly Damon is for sure one of those.
Gerard is trapped, but gets it away to Majora Shova. Majora Shova has it, guarded by Damon. She'll take it across the top of the key and give it over to Gerard. Gerard drives inside, and she's fouled by Claire Merrill.
Yeah, as we see McNally now re-entering the game, and McNally will check in for Gerard. And now checking in for the game for the Wildcats, it will be Maddie Lawrence. So that is definitely something to note, as the Wildcats will put in their star, or their player who has the most fouls with 3, while the Knights will take out their player that has the most fouls in Gerard.
McNally working on the inside against Lawrence right away, and misses that one. Rebound by Claire Merrill. Here comes Jordan Reed. Reed working against Aaliyah Evans, picks up her dribble, gives it to Merrill, top of the key. Now over to Lily Frazier. Frazier's gonna dribble with the right hand, takes it to the top of the key. Trying to spin inside. Quick pass inside to Merrill. Now gives it over to Reed. Ball on the floor, jump ball. It's gonna be possession arrow Knights.
Yeah, and that was a great job by the Knights to really swarm the Wildcats and really test them, especially on their offensive side, because it seemed a lot of times that the Wildcats kind of have been having their way, especially when they have some solid ball movement. And Sam, I believe the Wildcats got that ball right there.
Yeah, they had not switched the possession arrow, but Collier strips it away. Here comes Ella Collier working against Merrill. Stops and gets the bucket to go. Ella Collier's done that a couple times, keeping the Knights in this game. They hadn't switched the possession arrow on that last one from the 4th to the 3rd quarter. Timeout's going to be taken by Ethan Whaley. He doesn't like what the Wildcats are doing offensively. They've had a couple of turnovers, a couple fast break buckets for Ella Collier, and she's starting to heat up just at the right time for the Knights.
Yeah, but I think something that Coach Whaley did a good job of is his team is definitely still in control of this game with their 12-point lead, 71-59, as we see a couple shots here. There's Jordan Reed, really, who's been on fire, especially from, it's almost as if she's on fire, yes, on her jump shots, but it's been the one where it's that corner jump shot every single time it seems like she's making. But like I was saying, Sam, I believe it was a good timeout that Coach Whaley took right there, because he doesn't want to get his Wildcats behind, or he doesn't want to make that lead that they have a little bit tighter. So I believe calling that timeout at the right time with them still having a double-digit 12-point lead was a smart decision by Coach Whaley.
Yeah, that short corner jumper that Reed has kind of perfected here in this game. That's one of the hardest shots in basketball, to get the right level on that, power on that shot, but Reed has really nailed him in this game.
Yeah, we see McNally with another block right there. She's been having herself a really solid game on the defensive side.
Lawrence will back her down, spins, and no foul called. McNally gets another block. We heard some of the contact on the arm as Majora Shova goes to the rack and gets the bucket to go. She'll get fouled by Merrill and head to the line.
Yeah, and I know we just came out of this timeout, so obviously you're not going to see production super fast, but I believe Coach Whaley's probably a little upset. We're going to see some substitutions here as Sadie Nee will check in for Jordan Reed. So Jordan Reed's going to get this break that she very well deserves. And I think, honestly, Sam, if we see Sadie Nee essentially control the ball, I understand a lot why Coach Whaley subbed her in here, as the and-one attempt will not go through the basket. So just a 2-point play for the Knights, and the Wildcats still have a 10-point lead.
Here comes Maddie Lawrence, gives it to Sadie Nee in the corner. Nee dribbles out with the right hand to the left foul line extended. Nee, quick pass inside to Bailey Van Dyke. Van Dyke on a double pump, gets the bucket to go. Aaliyah Evans was coming for the block. Good job by Bailey Van Dyke.
Yeah, and something I said last Friday against the Cougars, Van Dyke doesn't make many shots, and when she does, it's going to usually go in, as there's a steal by Sadie Nee.
Here come the Wildcats. Sadie Nee gives it to Frazier. Frazier stops, now gives it to Maddie Lawrence. Lawrence will drive with the left hand, and that ball is knocked off her knee, out of bounds. She thought she got fouled by Majora Shova. No call. It'll be a turnover for Lawrence, and Lawrence looks about just as confused as I am. So, Knights possession, they trail 73-61. Aaliyah Evans, the mid-range jumper, rattles around and in.
A lot of mid-range jumpers being made tonight, Sam. Like you said, it's probably one of the harder shots in basketball to make. but both teams are really showing us wrong tonight.
In recent trends in basketball, the analytics say go away from the mid-range jumper, but when it comes to playoff basketball, you need someone who can hit a bucket, and if you can hit from the mid-range, that's points, and those are critical here in playoff time. Lily Frazier has the basketball, spins at the elbow, gives it out, Maddie Lawrence. She'll take a three, long three off the back of the rim, no good. 73-63, 10-point game, 5:33 to play here in the championship game of the Crossroads League. Majora Shova collects, dribbles out with the right hand, top of the key guarded by Sadie Nee, calls for the handoff dribble, now drives inside, leaves it short off the front end, and Bailey Van Dyke collects the rebound. Here comes Lily Frazier across the midcourt stripe. Frazier's gonna work against Majora Shova. Wildcats swinging around. Frazier on the left foul line extended into the short corner. Swinging around the skip pass to Claire Merrill for three. She left it way out, and an air ball from Claire Merrill.
Yeah, and that was a bit of an uncharacteristic air ball by Claire Merrill as Collier connects on the three-pointer. So the Knights will keep dimming down this Wildcat lead, and it is now 73-66.
And just like that, Collier is up to 15 points here in this game. She's turned it on in the fourth quarter, exactly when the Knights need her. 73-66, 4:36 to play in the championship game. Sadie Nee thought about a three, didn't take it. Knights have moved into a zone. Here comes Lily Frazier down the lane. High off the glass and in. Frazier silences the Knights' run.
Yeah, and that's something we saw the last time these two teams met, was the fact that Collier and McNally both heated up well in that fourth quarter, as there's a really solid defensive possession, and Sadie Nee's shaken up just a little bit. She kind of landed a little awkwardly on her knee. It seemed as if when she planted her foot, her knee just shook just a little bit, but she will check out here as Kelly Damon will come into the game. And that's gonna send Tamira Perryman to the line. But Sam, yeah, kind of going back to what I was saying, Collier and McNally both heated up in that fourth quarter and really brought the Wildcat lead down a lot, because the Wildcats were up by a pretty solid amount, as Nutley and Jordan Reed will check in for Van Dyke and Maddie Lawrence. But something that the Wildcats did not do well in that fourth quarter was find someone to get hot until the end, obviously, when Lawrence basically won them the game single-handedly. But we see right there Lily Frazier kind of getting herself going in this fourth quarter.
Perryman off the back of the rim, but it lands in. They call that shooter's touch, something I don't have. Perryman, second free throw is up and good. And some substitutions for the Knights. Perryman will take a seat on the bench. Bossy will come in. The five for the Knights: Aaliyah Evans, Abby McNally, Allison Bossy, Ella Collier, and Jayla Wayner. For the Wildcats, it's Damon, Frazier, Merrill, Jordan Reed, and Jade Nutley. Merrill has it, top of the key, gives it over to Lily Frazier. Frazier dribbling with the right hand, picks up her dribble, spinning, now gives it over to Merrill. Merrill to the short corner, it's Jade Nutley. Nutley working inside, finally gives it over to Kelly Damon. Damon from three, she left it short. Off the front end, no good. 75-68, and the Knights continue to cut into this Wildcat lead. Here comes Jayla Wayner, guarded by Claire Merrill. Wayner stops, spins, steps back, blocked by Claire Merrill. Wildcat rebound, here comes Lily Frazier.
Yeah, that was a much-needed possession defensively for the Wildcats. A great stop right there.
Jordan Reed has it in the corner. Reed will take a mid-range jumper, and Reed will hit. Jordan Reed continues to be unstoppable in that mid-range game, and the Wildcats jump back out to a 9-point lead as we tick under 3:15 to play.
I don't understand why they would give her that much space. I mean, that's exactly what the Cougars did last Friday, and we saw how that ended up for them. So a bit of a confusion right there as we see a unbelievable defensive possession, and there's a turnover by Leah Evans, and now checking in for her will be Tamira Perryman.
And turnovers have been a big story in this game. 14 now for the Knights. Wildcats have 10. They turned the ball over a lot in that third quarter. But the 14 turnovers for the Knights have been a big story.
Yeah, and the fact that the Wildcats are 16-8 leading the Knights in points off of turnovers definitely adds a little salt onto that wound.
Merrill thought about a three in the corner, will drive. Now gives it over to Frazier. Frazier back to Merrill. Inside, Jordan Reed. Her shot was blocked. No, she was fouled. And Jordan Reed kind of just shrugging her shoulders, said, I don't know, I guess. And she'll head to the line. a little bit of a laugh from Reed and Jade Nutley, and Reed will have 2 free throws.
Yeah, as we see the foul here on the replay.
And McNally, yeah, she got her on the arm. And that just speaks to the length of Jordan Reed. She can get up on those mid-range jumpers. And McNally, who's had 5 or 6 blocks here in this game, couldn't get the block on Reed there.
Yeah, and something to note that is definitely not the case from last game where McNally was in foul trouble late as well, is that was her first personal foul. So McNally doing a really good job of containing herself while playing some really great defense.
We haven't seen Gerard check back in. They've elected to go small with Tamia Perryman. McNally drives, left it too long.
Yeah, I think she was trying to draw the foul right there on that shot, but some clean defense by the Wildcats leads to a rebound.
A lot of times when a player will drive, they'll try to tuck the ball a little bit like a running back would do, and then they struggle to get it out, trying to get that one-handed layup as Frazier drives inside, draws the foul. That one's gonna go against Collier. That's her 3rd foul. With 2:16 to play, the Wildcats can make this a 13-point ball game.
Yeah, and I definitely think Coach Whaley is making it a point to attack their star defender, as we see a timeout here by Coach Steve Brooks. But yeah, like I was saying, the Wildcats are trying to attack their star players and to draw fouls right there inside the paint, as we see a 30 seconds. So we will stay here, Sam. But yeah, that's what I think, is I think the Wildcats are trying to attack their star players and get them in foul trouble.
30-second timeout, so like he said, we're staying here. Let's take a look at the last 5 matchups between these teams. In 2019, they faced off in the semifinals. The Knights were victorious, 68-51. In 2020, they faced in the semifinals again. Same story, Knights 77-39. In 2021, it was a championship game, and the Wildcats came out victorious 77-67. And just last year, 2022, Wildcats took that one 66-63. So a back and forth affair. This is the 9th straight Crossroads League Tournament Championship game for the Knights. In those last 8 games, they're 4-4.
Yeah, Sam, and I'm over here looking at what you were reading. And Sam, this is the highest scoring bout between the 2 teams as well. Both teams, some really solid defense. Both teams actually averaging under 60 points per game allowed, but at the same time, both teams are also averaging over 70 points per game. The Wildcats obviously averaging 76.3, so they're averaging more, but the Knights average less, they average less, and so they lead in that category in opponents' points per game, 55-60. So both teams playing some really great basketball this season as Frazier connects on both of her free throws.
McNally hands it off inside to Collier. Collier lost it, turns it over. It'll be a foul. That one's gonna go against McNally, her 2nd. And the Wildcats can smell the blood in the water. They lead by 13 with 2 minutes to go. Yeah, and that's some 2 quick fouls by McNally, especially someone who's been pretty clean the whole game, playing some solid defense, but some very early, or some very short in time frame fouls as she's picked up 2 in the past couple of minutes. And Whaley wants to set up a play to drain some clock. We tick under 2 minutes to play. 1:46, 1:45 here to go in Marian. Damon with the basketball, 10 seconds on the shot clock, gets it away to Frazier. Frazier's gonna drive inside. Frazier spins, looking, spins again, nearly fell over, but she traveled. And it was Perryman kind of opening the door on Frazier as she was trying to back her down, and Frazier lost her footing. 13-point game, 1:35 to play. Knights need to move quickly. Here comes Perryman. Harriman, handoff dribble to Collier. Collier's double teamed. Now guarded by Frazier. Collier's gonna drive, stops, turns into Nutley, gives it over to McNally. McNally nearly lost it, grabbed by Jayla Wayner. Here's Perryman. Perryman will take a 3, and it's good. And some miscommunication by the Knights. Half of them were pressing and half of them were trying to get back on defense. We're gonna tick under a minute to play, still not fouling, down 10. Damon will let the clock tick down. Damon between the legs. Gonna take this all the way down. They can take it down to 40 seconds. Kelly Damon gets it out to Lily Frazier. Frazier drives, kicks to Jade Nutley. Nutley cut off baseline, has to get it away. Nutley, pass is turned over. Another steal for Ella Collier, 43 seconds to go. Wildcats on top by 10. Perryman misses the layup. Jade Nutley gets the rebound. There goes Claire Merrill. 36 seconds to go, and the Wildcat fans know it. Wildcats up 10. Fans on their feet here in Lucky Arena. Damon can dribble this thing all the way down to 10 seconds.
Yeah, Sam, and there's nothing much to say. It's besides, especially as a student, a fan of this Wildcats basketball team, I'm beyond proud of the way that they have played. They've overcome so much adversity at the beginning of the season with a lot of injuries, as they will get the shot clock violation here. So with 8.86 seconds left, the Wildcats have a 10-point lead, 81-71. And Sam, I know it's not over till the fat lady sings, Sam, but I believe you can call it quits here.
Jayla Wayner with 5 seconds to go. Wayner will take one last shot. No, they're gonna hold. And the Wildcats are Crossroads League Tournament champions 3 times in a row. The first time they've won both the regular season and the Crossroads League Tournament since 2012. Ethan Whaley shakes hands with the Knights team, and the Wildcats have done it. They've won the Crossroads League Tournament and the Crossroads League regular season. What a game from Indiana Wesleyan. They controlled throughout this whole second half, and what a game it was for Jordan Reed and Lily Frazier.
Yeah, and Sam, it's kind of a funny thing. The Wildcats winning this game and Friday's game pretty handily, especially towards the end. And they actually went down pretty early as they kind of allowed some very, very fast points. And then it was clear Coach Whaley cleaned it up, and he was able to really let his girls play and kind of let them do them. And so, Sam, we'll see the Wildcats host here. Not sure who their opponent will be just yet, as the selection show will be here in a couple days. But they will be hosting here as we see Athletic Director Dean Webb setting up the ladder underneath the net. And Sam, I think we're gonna have a cut down to the net. As you said, this is the first time since 2012 the Wildcats have doubled up, and they have won regular season and the playoffs, and they are Crossroads League champions.
And you cannot tell the story of this game without talking about Jordan Reed. 9 for 10 from the field, 4 for 5 from the free throw line. She had 4 rebounds, she had 2 assists, she had 2 steals, 22 points. What a game it was for Jordan Reed off the bench. She's been the spark all season for Indiana Wesleyan, and she does it again today as the Wildcats are presented with the Crossroads League Tournament trophy and the banner for Crossroads League Tournament champions. What a game it was for Indiana Wesleyan. They come out on top, 81-71, as the managers will join them for a little bit of a picture. And the Wildcats had 2 matchups with the Knights earlier in the season, and they split those games. Knights won at home early on in the season, and the Wildcats won here just 2 weeks ago on a last-second shot by Maddie Lawrence. But this game was a much different story. The Wildcats controlled for a lot of that fourth quarter. We saw the Knights try to make some runs, but every time they did, the Wildcats hit shots.
Yeah, and you know, Sam, you did mention that the Knights tried to make a couple runs, and obviously, I mean, yes, you want to highlight, obviously, the Wildcats who have won themselves the game. And, you know, I'm the first person to say to highlight these Wildcats. But, Sam, you can't obviously talk about the way that the Knights made the comebacks without highlighting Abby McNally. She had 19 points, Sam, and she pretty much ruled the paint most of the time while she was in the game. I mean, obviously, you saw a couple mismatches. She had some early chance points here. But she was 7 for 12, 58.3 shooting percentage. Now, something that obviously affected them really lately was she had 2 key misses from the free throw line that was in the middle of a Knights run, and it kind of slowed them down, it seemed, just a little bit, and it essentially led to the Wildcats not having to call a timeout and them just, you know, getting going really quickly, and it led to a lot of Wildcat points.
Ella Collier, who averaged 18.2 points per game on the season. She's one of the tops in the Crossroads League in points per game this season. Wildcats held her in check. She only had 15 points. She shot 6 for 10 from the field, 2 for 3 from the three-point stripe. But if you say Alec Collier only scored 15 points, I think the Wildcats will take it.
Oh, absolutely. I think if you're Coach Whaley and you tell him before the game that Ella Collier is going to score 15 points, I think he's gonna celebrate a little earlier, because he's gonna think that they won the whole thing, and you see it right there. Obviously, we noted that they had her under in single digits in that first half. And Sam, I told you, if they can limit her to single digits again in the second half, which is exactly what they did, they will come out on top, obviously with her only scoring 6 in the second half.
And I'm not licensed to give away a Crossroads League Tournament MVP.
Nah, go ahead, why not?
If I could, I would give it to Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed, she was unstoppable from the mid-range game all day, and We saw her hitting a lot of shots against St. Francis the other day, where St. Francis' defensive game plan was kind of leave her open in the mid-range game. The Knights didn't do that today, but she didn't care. She went 9 for 10 from the field, had 22 points.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I mean, it all dated back to Huntington. I believe the Wildcats, when they continued that win streak to 17 games, and I think with them, obviously, or my apologies, 18-game win streak right there, and obviously now we're at 20. But I think when they won that game against Huntington and won it in the fashion that they did, obviously with them scoring a season-high 104 points, and Jordan Reed had a lot to do with that. I mean, obviously, Lily Frazier had 32 in that game. But I believe with the way that the Wildcats handled themselves, and I mean, you see right there with the radio being, or with Jordan Reed getting interviewed down at the end, and I mean, I think it was pretty evident. She was the star not only of this game, but of the entire tournament. Being the spark plug off the bench, the Wildcats and Coach Whaley truly needed for her to be.
Yes, a great game from Jordan Reed. Lily Frazier also had a great game, but the Wildcats, Crossroads League tournament champions for the 3rd time in a row. It's the first time since 2012 that they sweep the Crossroads League regular season and tournament. We'll be back here on Monday or Tuesday for the opening round of the NAIA National Tournament next week. And Wildcats get the win in the Crossroads League tournament champion, 81-71 for Owen Nadishin and Sam Wirt. That's all from Marian.